What's up, ghosties? Welcome back to Tales of Spooky Coffee House. If you're new here, welcome to our show. My name is Chelsea,
And I'm Veronica.
and we're your hosts. On today's episode, we're going to be doing an interview with our listener Arlene about her ghost hunting adventures. We're
Ooh.
going to be discussing a potential new serial killer from about a decade ago that they're just now seeing.
Hmm.
And to end the podcast, we're going to have a special reading done by Mama Tammy.
I'm excited.
So, Veronica, how are you? What are you drinking? Anything to talk about?
I'm doing good, and yes, I do have something to talk about. I'm a little late to the game for you Potterheads, but I actually just finished watching all of the Harry Potter movies
I'm so proud.
for the first time in my life. And it wasn't at all what I expected. Like I honestly thought like Snape would like try to kill Harry and was like the one that like I don't know, like I never watched a full movie. I've only watched bits and pieces, and even when I watched those bits and pieces, it made no sense to me. I don't know if you like want to ask me questions to make this a little easier for myself
I
to
have
explain it.
one really important question.
Go for it.
What house do you think you are?
Gryffindor.
I knew it.
But I took a quiz recently and it said Hufflepuff. I don't know shit about them, so I don't want to associate myself with them yet.
Okay,
I want to read
so
the books.
here's the thing. I told Stephanie, I was like, I might have told mom too. I was like, Veronica's either going to be a Gryffindor or a Hufflepuff.
Hmm.
And here's why. You meet all the traits of a Gryffindor. Like you are courageous, you go after, you protect what you love, that kind of thing, right?
Keep it going. Keep it going. I'm just kidding.
But Hufflepuffs are really funny, and Slytherins are very protective of their Hufflepuff friends. And I am a Slytherin, like hardcore. Like not even like it used to be like fun and jokes until every single test that I have ever taken in my life, even the like random ones, I've always been Slytherin. So like my local library for Halloween, they had one of those you just drop a little wooden piece into the thing and it will literally just fall wherever it falls. I started on top of Gryffindor and ended up all the way across the board into Slytherin.
Do you speak snake?
We're not going to talk about that.
What?
So yeah, I always knew that you were going to be either a Gryffindor or a Hufflepuff.
I could
So
be both. Why not? I mean, Harry was technically both.
Harry was Gryffindor and Slytherin, not Hufflepuff.
That no, but I'm saying you could be both, as in like Harry
Oh,
was,
okay.
yeah, technically
Okay, I
two.
got you. I got you. I was like, he wasn't in Hufflepuff at all.
But yeah, I just didn't appreciate the continuous heartbreak that I experienced. I know that Hagrid had just died in real life not too long ago. So I think it was like the first movie where they're like, there's no Hogwarts without Hagrid. I was just like, and then God, what were other? First of all, Dobby, that
Yeah, I
fool.
was gonna bring him up.
I texted Chelsea, Mama Tammy, and our friend Stephanie. I was like, dude, this little dude is like my spirit animal. He's so fucking annoying, but like
And
I
all of us laughed because we all knew.
I like dramatically like I'll dramatically bang my head, not like hard or like real, but I'll bang my like fist against my head like stupid, stupid, stupid whenever I do something dumb. So I'm like, oh my god. I didn't appreciate that. Oh, spoiler alert. I didn't appreciate that he got killed. And
Yeah.
but I did like the proper burial. That was nice. I love how protective he was of Harry, and I love how Harry snuck the sock into the Tom Riddle's
Into the journal.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like freed Dobby, and which confirmed that. Well, anyways, and then of course Dumbledore, sir. I was crying. I was crying. But then when Snape was, oh my god, I could go on forever. Let's just say I enjoyed it. I can't wait to rewatch it. I was technically, in a way, forced to watch these movies because of my new job, hint, hint. So, but it was nice. It was fun, and I can't wait to rewatch them. And like I said, I really want to read the books now just to get the specific details and to meet Dobby's girlfriend, apparently, you said?
Yes, yes. He's got a girlfriend and there's a whole plot line with him and her and it's great.
Oh my god, I'm excited.
Yes. So, I have a small catch up. It's not like a big thing. So recently, I follow, if you don't know, I follow the official Scream franchise on TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
and they released a little note. So I had to go look into it because I was excited. So the
Mm-hmm.
official next Scream movie is coming out March 31st, 2023. I literally almost said 2013, and it just reminded me of the where I said last year in 2001.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm very nervous and excited for the movie because for a few reasons. So, spoiler alert, if you didn't hear my complaint about how they killed Dewey in the last movie, which was one of the
Wait,
original
what?
characters. Yeah, I talked about that.
Just kidding. I'm acting
I
like
was
I don't
like,
know the
I was like,
movies.
yeah, I was like, you've never even seen the movies, and I talked about that. But so
That's how good my
besides
acting is,
that,
everyone. If anyone wants to hire me, go ahead. Sorry.
I read the storyline on IMDb, and I'm very nervous about it because all it says is in the next installment, the four survivors of the Ghostface killings leave Woodsboro behind and start a fresh chapter in New York City. So I'm very nervous that this entire movie is not even going to be set in Woodsboro, and every single movie has been put in that city. Like, how are you just going to up and move everybody to New York?
Everything's gonna be okay. I promise.
I am very nervous and very excited, and I will tell you my thoughts in season two.
Dude, season two, isn't that so exciting?
Yeah, we're almost done with season one, just a few more episodes.
I could use a break from you. I'm just kidding.
All right, Veronica. So before I start asking you my questions, I want to introduce Arlene, who is doing an interview with us for segment one. So Arlene is a diehard listener who we absolutely love. You want to say hi, Arlene?
Hi, everybody.
Deja vu. So Arlene, are you drinking anything? Coffee, water? I know Veronica and I already talked about this, but what are you drinking?
Not coffee and not water. I'm drinking wine. It's called Seven Moons, and it's a red blend.
Ooh.
It's
Sounds
pretty.
yummy.
I
It is.
feel like that's a wine I would want to sip on like underneath the stars and like I don't
And
know.
feel rich and one with the earth.
That gives a certain vibe. Yeah, like it gives witchy vibes.
It does. That's why I got the bottle. I love the bottle. The front end of the bottle is nothing but like the different phases of the moon. I was attracted to it immediately.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's not bad either. It's got like all these different berries. It's even got a little taste of coffee in it. Like I said, red blend.
Definitely gonna have to try it now.
Yeah.
It, it's not very sweet, but it's not bitter, and it's got a little velvety, but it's not dry. It's
Hmm.
really, I like it.
So
It
she really is like my mother.
no, I'm like totally into that sweet wine. I've created a monster. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I should say that my mom is more like.
She's getting there. She's got to build a tolerance, though.
That's true. So my first question for both of you is, would you rather bleed out or be set on fire?
Jesus, Chelsea.
Mm.
Well, I wasn't expecting Arlene to be here originally, so I just had like very blunt questions. So it is
Uh,
what it
de-
is.
Definitely not the set on fire. I rather bleed out, and that
Yeah.
way it's like slow.
Yeah, I heard bleeding out is like falling asleep.
I'm all for that. Not
Well, bleeding out, you also your body starts to cramp up and you get really cold and like there's pain that well anyways, yeah, I'd bleed out too.
oh no.
Veronica's like, let me just give you the illusion of dying nicely.
What about you?
Oh yeah, I would rather bleed out too. Fuck
Okay.
that. I don't want to be set on fire. I'm pretty sure I already died being set on fire as a witch. I don't want to do it again.
No.
Yeah, fuck that. I remember watching like a documentary on like the witch trials and stuff and how they said it sometimes took up to 15 minutes for you to completely die. And I'm like, fuck that.
Hell no.
Anyways.
So I would also just like to point out, like, depending on which witch trials you're talking about, the Salem witch trials in particular, nobody was burned alive.
No,
for being a witch.
weren't they stoned or crushed by rocks and then
Ugh.
um
Yeah, and I think some of them are hung too.
oh, I didn't know about the hanging, but I know that some of them were like dunked in water and drowned. They were like
Yep.
tied there.
Basically every type of death except being set on fire.
Right. Creepy.
So, my next question for you both is, if you were trapped on an island, would you rather resort to cannibalism or die of starvation?
Cannibalism.
All right.
Um,
Arlene belongs on this show.
Cannibalism. I'm all up for a barbecue. Come on now.
oh. Not me picturing body parts on a grill.
You don't have a grill if you're trapped on an island. You have to do it over a fire pit.
Uh,
So I'm picturing her with a stick with a body part sticking on the end of it like a hot
fucking
dog.
skewers and shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm definitely resorting to cannibalism too.
I'll
Cheers.
I'll make sure that they bleed out quietly.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, just very quietly slit their throat in their sleep. They'll
right.
never know.
That's right.
But
But make sure
eventually you're
they,
gonna die from.
Not if you're eating other people.
You know what? I'd rather eat the person than have them come after me first.
exactly.
Yeah, see?
So you'll resort to cannibalism as well.
Yes, not my final answer, but yes. All right. Well, moving on from those freaking disturbing ass questions, Chelsea. Jesus. I have in a lighter fucking what's the phrase? In a lighter.
On a lighter note.
Oh, thank you. On a lighter note.
Good thing she was here because I totally blanked on that one. I was like, I know what it is, but
I
what the
got
fuck is
scared.
it?
I was like, breathe. What is your dream birthday party?
Oh, mine's corny.
Go for it.
Wonder Woman.
Really?
I love Wonder Woman.
Would you dress
Do
up
you
as
want
her?
do you want to be Wonder Woman or you want Wonder Woman to show up at your house and take you for a
No,
Or a
fight?
theme, like just a
yeah,
theme.
totally like a total 5-year-old like Wonder Woman theme, everything, everybody in the cute little tiaras and the little wristbands.
Cute.
Yeah, with a big, huge Wonder Woman 3-tier cake. That's how I wanted my 50th birthday, but it never turned out that way.
Well, you could still do it. There's nothing stopping you.
For
Don't
real.
wait for the decade birthdays. You do that shit when you want to, girl.
For real. Because if I don't do it, ain't nobody going to do it for me. I mean, they
Exactly.
tried. They really did. They gave it the whole oomph, but it didn't work out. But yeah, totally Wonder Woman. I know I'm corny. When I was little and Linda Carter was on the TV and she was spinning around, I was in front of the TV spinning around. My sister's and on the couch was watching me spinning around, and I was hoping I would turn into Wonder Woman. He goes, well, maybe you're just not spinning fast enough. And here I am, this little girl spinning around in front of the going faster and faster, and it still wasn't working. So I just kind of gave up and just sat in front of the TV and watched her. Charlie's Angels was after that, which was all good too, but Wonder Woman was the best.
Charlie's Angels.
Come on.
Yeah.
All right,
The
Chelsea, by
original,
you.
definitely. So I had to think about how to phrase this.
Oh, does this have to do with your club?
No, not really.
Club?
No.
Next birthday.
You're like half right. So I really want a masquerade party where we just like you don't have to dance like in fancy ball gown dresses. Like you can wear jeans and a t-shirt with your mask or whatever. But then like, just have like that overall like very sophisticated sexy vibe type thing going on.
Okay.
And then the male strippers come out afterwards.
Ugh, gross. Male strippers are nasty.
Yeah, you're right. Definitely need a couple of women in there too.
And just male strippers are gross. They're all slimy and oiled up and
Yeah, I could do without the oil, like all natural. That's perfect.
Oh God.
I can't that's the reason why I really don't want to go to like Chippendales and stuff like that because all that oil and it's just like it's too fake. It's ridiculous.
Have you ever
Like
seen that movie with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman? What is it? Eyes Wide Shut? And they go to a masquerade and then it's like an all-out orgy. That's kind of how I picture the party.
Oh,
That wasn't how I pictured my party, but now that it's been brought to my attention, I can't unsee it. And you know what's funny? I haven't seen that whole movie. The only scene that I've seen is that scene, is that one
of
scene. Yeah.
course.
And that well, no, that's because it was playing and I clicked on it. It was on cable or whatever, and I was watching it and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And
It,
I've never wanted to watch anymore.
it's intriguing. It's weird, but it's intriguing.
Yeah, I can tell just from that scene.
It's weird, but yeah.
What about
Um,
you, Veronica?
Yes. How about you, Veronica?
well, I mean, I don't know why you're talking about cheesy or corny, girl, because mine would be one of two things. No, one of three.
Pedro Pascal.
Shut up. My first one, don't act like you know me, first of all, because you're still wrong. My first one would be Cars. I would have a Cars theme. I'd want a Cars jumper, and I want a Cars cake. And then my second idea would be like a Mandalorian Grogu theme party.
I
Same
almost said
thing.
that with you.
Huh?
I almost said that with you because
Oh,
I've
yeah.
grown to know you. So I'm like,
Yeah, exactly. Not a Pedro Pascal party, you fucking loser, Chelsea. It's a Mandalorian party with
I
Grogu.
wasn't saying Pedro Pascal, I just meant like
You
him
literally
being
said
there.
Pedro
Like him
Pascal.
being there, not the
No,
theme.
you literally said Arlene. You heard her. She said Pedro
okay.
Pascal.
But in reality, how bad would you totally geek out if all of a sudden Pedro Pascal knocked on the door and said, I am here to wish Veronica a very happy birthday?
Okay, so I've talked to Chelsea about this before.
Because he
What,
does
what,
speak with a
what?
very thick,
She would fangirl and just like cream right there.
totally. He
Scream or
totally,
cream?
Cream.
both,
Yeah, both.
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 Anyways, I wouldn't scream.
You're right. You're right. You would moan.
No, I wouldn't. I would be funny. I'd be like, I see this fool coming up to my house acting like he's all famous and shit. But yeah, and then my third idea would be an 80s theme party where it's just 80s music. People come with the fake perm or something. I don't know.
Oh, for
You want
sure.
to know what's funny about that?
What?
You know what's funny about that.
Are you going to an 80s party?
I definitely am.
Oh yeah, that's why I was really excited for you, dude, and giving you the ideas. I
So,
was living my dream through you.
And what are you going to dress up as? Flashdance?
yep, Slash. John is going as Slash,
Oh,
and I'm going as just like a 80s rocker.
okay. I was thinking Flashdance with the leg warmers and the
No, see, the only reason I'm doing the rocker is because John is going as Slash, so I was like, I'm gonna like
a
kind
group.
of like join it. Yeah,
Yeah, you're a groupie.
yeah,
Okay, so 80s party. I dig that.
yeah. I dig that too.
So my last question is, if you could float in space without dying, of course, what song would you be listening to?
Rocket Man.
Yeah, I thought about that one.
That's the first song that came to mind. I don't know. Halfway There by Bon Jovi.
We're halfway there. You know what? I think Rocket Man is very fitting. Either that or I'd probably play some like Mamma Mia or like ABBA, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Chiquitita, I think would be it. What about you, Chels?
I have no fucking clue.
What the? Okay, well, think about it, loser.
That movie Gravity was very disappointing.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, it really was. I did not like it at all.
It was
I
intense for me. I was like, no.
Oh no, I disliked it a lot.
Aw. Maybe if I watch it again, I'll not like it. But at the time when I watched it, I enjoyed it.
However, I do not, and you can edit this, edit time, because this has nothing to do with neither that or this. But Hocus Pocus 2, I've already seen it twice. I like it that much. And you don't like it.
I
Chelsea.
don't. I feel like for me, it's just so modernized, and it felt like it was making fun of it more than anything.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't get that. It even made me cry.
Which part?
Well, when the sisters were all separated and Bette Midler was all,
Okay, that part was sad. Yeah, that part was sad, but
yeah,
I wasn't gonna like cry. That was like the only like real part that I actually liked that they did that.
yeah, because they humanized them more or less. Like they
But
realized.
also at the same time, I didn't like that they humanized them.
I mean, I get it. I totally get it. But I liked it. I liked it a lot. Like I said, I watched it twice. Veronica, get on board.
I can't. I'm sorry. I tried
She can't
watching the
even make it
first
to the
one.
first one, yeah.
Yeah.
My ultimate favorite part, and I still LOL, I still laugh, is when she's like, "All right, spread out," and Sarah's like doing the splits in the middle of the hallway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not like that, you nitwit. I think that's
My favorite part is when she's flying on the Roombas.
oh my gosh, that is so
Mary, yeah.
cowabunga,
I
dude. That was so funny. So funny. But yeah, see, I watched it twice. I still think it's cute.
like a standalone, like I feel like it would be better, but I don't know.
I mean, I took it at face value with a grain of salt. I knew it wasn't going to measure up to the first one. So I guess I prepared myself for that. So maybe
See,
that's why I kind of liked it.
I think that was my issue because I was expecting it to be as good as the first one.
Mm. And that's my warning to everybody when they see it. I tell them it's not as good as the first. It won't be as good as the first. Expect, just take it at face value. You're going to be entertained just about. That's about it.
Yeah. So, Veronica, I really don't have an answer for you. I have no idea. I'd probably be just listening to my playlist on shuffle.
You're boring.
I know. But anyways, you ready to move on to segment 1?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So, the real reason that Arlene is here is we are interviewing her about her ghost hunting experience. So, Arlene, go ahead and tell us, what kind of experience did you have when you were ghost hunting? How did it all start?
So my friend decided to go ahead and create this group called CTPI, Central Texas Paranormal Investigators. And I was really excited because I was one of the ones that initiated it and said, "Yeah, Paul, do it, do it, do it." And so we did it. And to be honest, Veronica, I hate to disappoint you, but it's really not as cool as the TV shows make it out to seem.
I'm sure. I'm sure they have to kind of over exaggerate some things for the views and stuff.
Well, that and a shit ton of editing because it's
Mm.
boring as F. So,
As an editor for the podcast, I completely understand that.
and then thank God that I was never part of the video reviews or part of the EVP reviews because I, my ADD wouldn't have let me. There's no way because there's no way. So in the quiet times when there was nothing going on, I would tell very interesting stories.
So, I'm sorry, but so
Go
it
ahead.
being boring, did that
Yeah.
take the fun out of it completely?
It just made it for a very long night.
Hmm.
Not every thump, not every, thing is something. You always have to debunk it.
Right.
Always, always, always. You have to go ahead and be the skeptic. So
Hmm.
there was times when one of the guys in our group, he got scratched. And so all of a sudden we're like, well, shit, okay. So then we went back to the van and went ahead and did a review. Well, he was out of the side of the camera the whole entire time.
Oh
So we had to go
no.
toss it. So, I mean, do we know that it wasn't him and he maybe went ahead and scratched his back up against a small nail? I mean, it's dark, so you don't know. So, and he's like, "Oh my God, I got scratched." And so, and yeah, it was like 3 scratches across his back, but you never know. But because again, he was out of the line of the camera, we had to throw it out. There was
Interesting.
another part where we heard something, some scurrying, and we heard like a little scratch. And all of a sudden, I'm like, "Hey, hey, hey, over here." And so then when we went over there and we shined the light, it was a field mouse in the house eating dog food. So it's like different stuff like that we just kind of have to toss out. Of course, debunked. There was a guy and he said that he felt a presence behind him all the time when he was watching TV. Well, unfortunately, that's where his electric box was. And you know that electric boxes emit the electric current. And so he just felt that feeling of somebody hovering over him all the time. So we had to unfortunately go ahead and just eliminate that. So, but yeah,
That sounds very
like
frustrating.
it was. And like I said, it would make for very, very long nights. One time, my husband was because he was part of the group and I wasn't able to go. But, we kind of sort of dismiss orbs, especially if it's outdoors. We dismiss those. However, there was this orb and it went through the wall, and then the camera in the other room went ahead and got the orb as it
Whoa.
through the wall and out the other side.
I've never seen that before.
That one was really, really cool. Really cool. But we've been places where all of a sudden the cameras aren't working, the thermometers, the cameras will go ahead and go in and out of focus. It would go, really close and then really far away, and he's not controlling it. He's like, what the hell? Or the batteries will go ahead and die because, it has to feed off of other energies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I have a question since you
Yeah.
brought up the orb.
Yes.
What do you think spirits are? Do you think they're orbs of light? Do you think they're full figures? Do you think they're a mixture of both? Does it depend on the entity, like the type or even the type of spirit? What are your thoughts on that?
I believe it's a type of need more energy in order to manifest. I do believe that there are people that have had full apparitions. Unfortunately for me, fortunately and unfortunately, for me, I've never seen a full apparition. I've seen shadows, but never like a full apparition. I want to say my husband's been touched. So, those things need energy in order to manifest some things like that. So I would say that it's an energy. It's some kind of a force, definitely.
What about you, Veronica? What do you think about that?
I was actually thinking the same exact thing, that I just believe that we become some kind of energy. I kind of see it as like a mist, right? Like a ball of mist, but it's energy, which, kind of explains it being able to transform into like a full apparition or into that small orb or whatever it may be. But yeah, I definitely agree that it's some type of energy.
And your
Okay.
thoughts, Chelsea, what do you think?
I'm really torn between because for me, I know that it's energy, it's the type, but with my personal experience, I've only ever seen one orb in my entire life. Other than that, I've always seen translucent figures. And then of course there's the figure that both my mom and I have seen.
Right.
We've mentioned it before, the man in the tall hat.
Yeah.
He was solid. And even when there was one time only where he got close enough where I could if I really wanted to, I could have touched, but I could feel the energy radiating off of him. So what causes that much energy? Is it the type of spirit he is, or even if he wasn't a spirit and he was something else that we just don't understand? I'm torn about what I believe because of that experience.
I feel like it could be a mixture of things too.
Yeah.
Also you were young, and they do say that when you're younger, you're more prone to see spirits.
Exactly. You're more open to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you believe. You believe more things. Come on. You believe in Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy. So
hey, now I still believe in Santa.
Hey, you're right. You're right. I believe. Unfortunately, he doesn't believe in me. I'm on the naughty list. But
yeah, but that's when you get to sit on Santa's lap and go ho ho ho.
Oh my!
That was
Chelsea,
my point. I'm the hoe too.
Who's drinking the wine here? I am not a hoe, for the record.
I never said you were. I was talking about me and Arlene.
She's calling us out. No, she said it 3 times. She said ho, ho, and ho. She said
I'm just a hoe because I'm a bitch. That's it. Guys, my therapist is listening. Just kidding. God.
Oh my goodness. I would love to sit in one of those therapy sessions, Veronica. You come off with some shit, let me tell you.
It just comes out of me, I swear.
That's what she said.
Anyways.
She talks too much. Put some in her mouth.
Who, me?
No, whoever's talking too much.
I just got really offended.
No, don't be offended.
We're not snowflakes here.
Right. No, but there are the spirit guides, and I believe that the guy with the tall hat is a spirit guide. He's been here before. He's been here many times. He's lived a lot of life. And so therefore he is guiding you to making best decisions. So that might be what that is. And then there are the occasional visitors that have just passed on that are confused, don't know whether they're here or not, and they don't even realize what is going on. And then, of course, they say our angels are different from spirit guides. Angels have never been in a human form. Angels have always been angels. That's my belief.
Interesting.
I do have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, even if you had already, believed in the paranormal, what was the first piece of evidence that you caught that, like, just confirmed it even more for you?
So that would have to be my, well, that's another story, but we had an experience at this place called Hunt's Cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when my friend's camera, he was in charge of taking pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And this cemetery is family owned plot. And it's literally about the size of a block. It's very small. It's not like anything that you would see Forest Lawn or Rose Hills like you see out in LA.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very small. It's a personal plot. And some of these tombstones are like from the 1700s. Some of them are like generals that have been there, that fought in different wars and whatnot. And so we were doing EVPs, and then the lights would come on and, to answer. And the thermometer lights, when they're reading the I don't know what this one is called. There's a technical name, but then it like shows you like the red lights go all the way up. And then if there's no action, it goes either from yellow to green, which means there's nothing there.
The EMF reader?
Okay. With that one, yes, you're probably right.
Or are you're talking about a different?
No, I think you're right. It's an
Okay.
EMF reader. And then, of course, there are thermometers where if you're touched, or something like that, then they want to go ahead and take your temperature as on your arm. Oh my God, my arm is really cold. I feel like I was touched right here. And then they'll take your temperature and stuff like that. So there was several different instances at Hunt Cemetery. So my friend's camera was like draining from the battery, but first it was like zooming in and zooming out, and it was just literally he just had it on automatic pictures, like at different times. You know how you would go ahead and take a picture every 30 seconds or something like that, and then it would just take a picture, but it would like zoom in and zoom out. He was listening to it, and it was like zoop, zoop, and it was just doing weird shit. And so he was messing with that, and then when he went to go touch it, boom, the camera just died. And he's like, well, there's that. And then Joe and Red, husband and wife, they were going ahead and doing EMF and the EVP readings. And that was a tombstone that was right there, one of the old ones. And it was just answering yes or no questions with the lights. I didn't stick around for that. I was just like hanging around with Paul and my husband. And right then and then I like went to walk, and there was like a broken tombstone. It looked like a child's tombstone. And right when I said, hey, Paul, be careful, because I almost tripped on a tombstone, he fell. And I said, did you fall from a tombstone? I was just about ready to tell you. And he goes, no, I was tripped. And you could see that he was literally cut at the shin and fell on his chest. Both legs flipped up underneath him, and he fell on his chest. Thank God there was nothing in front of him. And I asked him, and I said, are you sure you on a tombstone? He goes, I swear to God, Arlene, I did not trip on a tombstone. There's nothing here. And literally, when we looked around with the flashlight, there was nothing there. And you could see like a line in like, I don't understand. It was a dark line, so it wasn't dirt, because of course we're at the cemetery, there's going to be dirt, but it wasn't like that. It was like I don't know, there was like a line across his shins where it literally just flipped him up and down and on his chest, and he swore it on anything and everything that he was literally tripped. And then my husband was near a tombstone of a child, and he's like, I feel a little hand on me. It's like a little kid's hand. And all of a sudden he's like asking questions, and all of a sudden he goes, whoa, my arm's like really, really cold, but it felt like a little kid's hand. That's when we went ahead and got the thermometer read, and one arm was, normal temperature, and the other arm was like at 50, 60 degrees. And then all of a sudden we're looking around, and it was a tombstone of a child right where he was standing. I mean, it's dark, we didn't see it, but what a coincidence, right?
What a bad
So
child.
Yeah.
So one child was communicative and the other one was a little shit.
Could have been the same one. We don't
Maybe
even
in the
know.
afterlife, they're still little shits.
Yeah. But the best is when everybody's like, all right, let's wrap everything up. It's getting late. And so, I mean, we were out there for a really long time. All of a sudden, everybody's like, all right, all right. So we're picking up all of our instruments, all the different, the meter readers, the EMF, the cameras, everything. And we're gathering it all, putting it all away. And all of a sudden you hear swear. And it was crazy. This is not an exaggeration. Oh God, if you could see my arms right now, I'm just all chicken skin. The fence on the back side from end to end, it was all a chain link fence with wooden slats from one end to the other, moving simultaneously. It wasn't a very small fence. I'm talking about the entire back wall of the perimeter of the cemetery.
Wow.
The whole thing. And and so I'm like, all right, I got to debunk this shit because this is too good.
Yeah.
So I'm like, guys, come here. Guys, look. And they're like, okay. I'm kind of embarrassed to say, but they're like, nah, fuck that shit. And they all ran to their car.
That would be Chelsea.
It depends.
Seriously.
It depends. I was gonna ask Arlene, did you feel like a threatening presence with that, or
No, not at all. No, not at all. But the debunker in me had to go ahead and look. So I grabbed a flashlight, and even though everybody was already in their car going, come on, Arlene, come on, Arlene. I grabbed a flashlight because I had to see, is it a deer? Is it a cow? What's out there? Because we're out in the flipping boonies. So it could be anything. So I was out there and I was looking, and I promise you guys, there was nothing out there. Nothing. And that fence was still swaying back and forth. Now, because it was so long, I would understand if it was not swaying all at the same time. You know how when you try to move something, you know how it would be like a paper or something like that, and it would like all sway, but it like all wobbly. It wasn't. It was all simultaneous, like all at the same time. That's what trips me out the most, because there was no wobble. There was nothing. I'll have to show you. I'll send Chelsea.
You have the video still?
No, I don't.
Oh.
No, there was no video. They were all in the car.
Chelsea, there was no one there besides Arlene.
I was the only one. They're like, you're fucking crazy. I'm like,
I would have been holding a flashlight, a camera, an EMF reader. I would have held everything.
I got so mad. I'm like, what kind of CTBI group are we if you're running away? What the fuck is this?
This is what we're fucking looking for.
That's exactly what I said.
And you're running.
You're idiots. I'm so mad. I'm like, whatever. Finally, something that I consider greatly substantial, and they're running away. I didn't get it. I just don't get it. But they got enough crap, I guess, that night. But that was kind of cool. But the group was getting kind of really well known, and people were looking us up, and they were wanting us to go ahead and go to different places. But unfortunately, because of the different schedules with everybody, because, we all still have full-time jobs. We're all parents. And so we all had different schedule that didn't coincide. Unfortunately, the group dismantled little by little, and the leader of the group, he fell into really hard times and pawned all his shit. So bye-bye, group.
See, when you first started that sentence, I thought you were going to say it dismantled because everybody ran away.
No.
But reality makes more sense.
Yeah, no, reality did play a very sad point into that. But back to when we had really boring moments. I remember Sean, the one that plays back the videos or the one that listens to all the tapes. He literally called me one night and he goes, Arlene, what the fuck? I said, what? Why? And he goes, you have me dying over here and I'm trying to pay attention to this, to what's going on over there. And you're over here telling stories. So the story I told was how my mom found out that I was no longer a virgin.
Oh god.
I feel like this is very me and Chelsea during the podcast.
Yeah,
It is.
it was quite funny. We lived in a very old two-story house, and I couldn't have sex on my bed because my bed squeaked, so we had sex on the floor. Well, the whole time we were having sex, the chandelier downstairs was just
Um,
BRB while I die right now.
the
the
cons
chandelier
of having a chandelier.
seriously above the dining room table. Like the hurricanes were all off kilter when I came downstairs. My mom was just like, I'm just never mind. I'm not even gonna go there. That was a very long conversation.
An interesting one though.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, that happened. So I was telling everybody about that story, and Sean was just cracking up. He would hear those poor stories. But yeah, so I mean, there was really cool stuff. And then, of course, I've had my own personal experience. Have y'all ever had personal? Well, Chelsea, I know that you have, especially with the dude with the tall hat. Have
and
you?
the clown.
Oh, what? Wait.
Yeah, what?
I feel like I've told Veronica the story before, but I'll say so. The man in the tall hat. When I started seeing him, I started seeing this teenage boy in blue jeans and a white T-shirt. And while the man in the tall hat would stay in the doorway, like he never moved from the doorway,
Ew, I'm
um,
scared.
the teenage boy would come and he would like dance, he would sing, he would just like make me laugh, and then I would go to sleep.
Oh
And in the
yeah.
morning they would be gone.
Yeah.
Well, there was one night when he was doing like peekaboo, I guess is
Ooh,
basically what it was.
ooh.
Well, when he popped back up, he had a clown mask on.
Yeah, fuck you. No.
Yeah, and that was the only time in my entire life that I've ever seen the man in the tall hat move, and this is when he was close enough for me to touch him. He literally grabbed him, they both disappeared, and I've never seen them again.
Huh. Interesting.
I think I don't remember that story because it traumatized me the first time I heard it.
It traumatized me for the rest of my fucking life.
I
That
can't
is
anymore.
that is not an experience I would want for sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think that's like I think that's where my fear of clowns really like set in because I had watched it before that. I was like 6. I was like 6 when this happened and I watched it when I was 5. So I think that's where it really settled in. And my mom, she talks to the man in the tall hat. His name is James.
Mm-hmm.
And he says that I block them out and that's why I can't see them anymore. Like I've felt him before, like I know he's here, but I haven't seen him since.
Well, do you think that by unblocking one, you'll unblock the other? Is that your fear, perhaps?
You know, I never thought about it that way, but that is a possibility. I'm gonna have to like really think about that.
Damn, dude, you're getting diagnosed today.
I,
Well, my mom said that because she thinks like you do, Arlene, she thinks that they're guardian angels of some sort or like
I,
spirit guides.
I do
And
believe that the one with the tall hat is a spirit guide for you and your mother, of course.
well, my mom's theory is that that's her spirit guide and he was training mine because you know mine was a teenage boy at the time.
Oh,
So
okay.
she thinks that he was training him and then he fucked up with the clown mask.
Fired. You're fired.
That was her working theory at one point. I don't know if that's changed, but, you know, maybe that underlying fear is what's been holding me back. Because like, I've tried to unblock them, but I don't know how to do it.
Interesting. Veronica, have you ever had experience with the other side per se?
Well, the first experience, I'm not quite sure if I've talked about this one, but the first experience that actually I'm lying. This is a second experience where it was just really intense, but I wasn't scared in the moment, even though if it was anyone else, they'd probably be freaking out. It was a couple days after my brother had passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother was like my best frenemy. Like he would bully the shit out of me, but he beat the
That's
shit
your
out of anyone who would like, you know?
right. That's your brother. I mean, nobody else can pick on you but him.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
And so my bed is right next to my window, and right outside my window is the washer machine and the dryer. And I remember just laying there. It was the morning. I was just laying there, lost in my thoughts. And all of a sudden, my window starts shaking as if there was an intense earthquake. However, I wasn't shaking. My bed wasn't shaking. I put my hand on the wall right next to the window. That wasn't shaking.
Oh.
And it went on for a good while. I would say a good like maybe 10 straight seconds of that. Yeah, and I remember just laying there, and I quickly realized that I wasn't afraid. And being someone that believes and like is into this stuff, it hit me like it's my brother kind of
Mm.
telling me either his goodbye or like, hey, I'm good, I'm here.
Aw,
And
okay.
I remember just laying there. Actually, today is his birthday, so happy birthday to my brother,
Aw,
my
happy
in
birthday.
heaven. And I kind of just remember laying there and saying, you know what? Hey, Carlos, like, asshole, like, I know it's you. Like, thank you. I love you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
So
cool.
I enjoyed that one. And my first experience, I had gone to Tombstone, Arizona. I went to tour the Birdcage Theater, which I highly recommend anyone do. And we also stayed at a haunted Airbnb right across the street from it. This is with our friend Stephanie. In the haunted Airbnb, long story short, the light started flickering in the bathroom. I saw it first. I told Stephanie. Stephanie said, I believe you. I'm like, I don't think you do. And then it happened to where we both saw it, and I yelled at her. I told you I wasn't lying. And she was just like, I told you I believed you. You don't have to yell at me. And then in the actual tour of the Birdcage Theater, I have a picture, and I'll try to remember to post this on Instagram, Chelsea, if you can remind me. And in the picture, it's like a picture of an old piano, right? And then the bench. But right underneath where the bench is, you see a silhouette of a little boy sitting there. You
Un-
literally see like the head, the body, the legs, and on the legs, you see the socks. Like you see socks.
that's wild.
And so that's the first like picture I've ever taken where it's like that's a fucking little boy. And crazy enough, the place is actually known to have a ghost of a little boy, which we also thought we heard later on during our because it's kind of an investigation type of tour.
Ooh, cool.
And you hear like the pebble dropping and stuff, and they say that that's him playing. So many months later, I listened to the audio that I recorded during that little session, and I got a whisper that I have posted on Instagram and TikTok if any of the ghosties want to go check out. And the whisper pretty much says they're coming.
Ooh. Who
um
did anything happen after that?
No, nothing crazy happened. That's the thing. Like I realized when people do these when I watch these ghost hunting videos, you'll often get EVPs of ghosts saying, I'm here,
Right.
or stating that they're there, but yet nothing happens.
By the way, that thing that strobes that brings in all those little voices and different radio stations and all that crap, dude, that thing is loud.
Oh
It is
yeah,
so loud.
there's actually a new thing that's just like that, but the thing actually takes out the white noise,
Yeah.
and it's less of the and
Oh,
more of just like the words.
yeah. That's really cool because we'll ask questions and it would pop up with different stuff. I remember that.
Have you heard of the Estes method?
The Estes method.
Yeah.
No, as a matter of fact, the first time I even knew about dowsing rods was
Uh-huh.
on your podcast.
Wow, okay, yeah. So the Estes method you would probably hate because they actually put headphones on one person and blindfold them and they turn it up.
Uh-huh.
So unfortunately you're hearing the and then the words. And then you have someone else recording asking questions. So the person that's listening to the white noise and stuff can't hear what the person's asking. So it kind of debunks some of it.
Oh, that's neat. And then you say words that you're listening that are coming through.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
that's something
Oh,
that I really, really, really want to try one day.
that would be really cool. But the noise kind of stresses
Hmm.
me out. But it's super loud.
See, that's what I told Veronica too, that noise would stress me out. I wouldn't be able to do it. So I would love to do it with her, but I would definitely be asking the questions.
I'd be more okay with that.
I had a personal experience. It was after my mom passed away. Mom gave me one of those lamps that you have to touch, and then the lamp
Hmm.
turns on and off.
Hmm.
So I remember, like, I took a whole week off and I went back to work. On my way home, I park, I do everything, I come into the door, and bink, my lamp turns on. And I was like, what? And then all of a sudden it just goes, you know how it dims first, or it goes
Uh-huh.
bright. I'm sorry, it goes bink, 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 and it turns brighter, bink, 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 and then boom, it turns. What the hell? And then it did it again, bink, 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 boof, turns off. And I'm like, okay, is there something going on? I twisted the light bulb because debunk me. So
Mm-hmm.
I have to go ahead and unscrew the light bulb. I screwed it back in, and there, bing, bing, and turns off. And I'm going, okay. And in my head, I'm thinking, okay, is that my mom telling me that she's here with me? But, I have to be realistic. I can't,
That's
So,
actually really nice.
right?
Like,
So
that's a nice experience.
it was a very nice experience. And she would turn on and off my TV, and my lamp would turn on when I felt I needed her the most. At night,
Ugh,
the
stop.
worst. So, because at night is when you're really in your own thoughts and
Mm-hmm.
sitting there and you're like, oh, and then all of a sudden my lamp would turn on because at that moment I'm doing the whole ugly cry, the sob,
Mm-hmm.
the whole deal. And then all of a sudden my lamp would turn on. Like, I'm okay. I'm right here with you.
Uh-huh.
Debunked it. I was throwing like coins at it. I had jewelry on there and jewelry on there. And no, nothing would turn that thing on. Dollar bills, paper, whatever. Nothing. Nothing turned the damn lamp on. It literally,
The quarters didn't work, neither did the dollars.
no, nope. It was
See,
crazy. It was really not.
I think it's really sweet how, like, you take it that way, because if it was me and Veronica and I died first, oh, I'd be fucking with her all night. Light on, light off,
I
light on,
would
light off.
fucking sage the fuck out of my house, and I tell you specifically, Chelsea, get the fuck out of my house.
You are
You be
not
saging that
welcome.
bitch every other night.
Yeah, no, but I let you in during the day. Like, all right, dude, come on, I'm lonely. Come do some shit. So, Arlene, aside from, that experience with your ghost hunting, has there ever been a moment where you got emotional because of a certain type of energy in the room?
I got angry. I got
Mm.
angry. There was that house with the mouse, and then my friend got scratched, but we couldn't like add that because the cameras were out of range.
Mhm.
That house made me angry. I kept feeling like I was getting poked in the leg. It wasn't like a soft poke, and it wasn't like a finger poke. It felt like a little needle poke. And I was wearing shorts because it's in the middle of the flipping summer and it's hot here in Texas.
Mhm.
So, but I kept getting poked. And it got to the point where I got really agitated and I started cussing it out. And my friend Paul's like, okay, come outside, take a breath, come outside, get some air, because he felt that it was feeding off my angry energy. That's what it was. It was
Mhm.
provoking me to make me angry so that it could be angry, because that's what they do. They feed off of that.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're
And
passive and calm, then it'll be more passive, more calm, and you can communicate. But it was aggravating. It was actually provoking. And so once I left, I don't remember what they got, but it was really, that house was fucking creepy, man. That house was, and it was dirty. I mean, I've been in some places where you like hoarders,
mhm.
dirty, people sleeping on no sheets, and you're like, what? But everybody lives how they want to live, and I'm not here to judge, but at the same time, come on, there's people coming in your house.
Right.
At least fake it.
For real.
But speaking of like them
Yeah.
taking energy and stuff, what's your take on those who actually offer their energy to the spirits? Like, if you need more energy, feel free to feed off of me. Like, what's your take on that? Do you think that's safe, or do you think that's worth it to try to get evidence?
I feel that the people that do that really have to know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They
Veronica.
they really, really have to be protected. Crystals, prayer, a cross, whatever it is that you feel protects you, you
Mm-hmm.
really, really, really need to protect yourself with that, because it can and it will if you're truly inviting it. And if and when you leave that place, make sure that it is not any longer using you when
Yeah.
you leave, and make sure that you say your goodbyes and you say another prayer to cleanse you, sage your ass. I don't give a crap. You got to go ahead and make sure that when you leave that area, you're leaving that spirit there. It can no longer use you.
Did you
Yeah.
take notes, Veronica? Are
Oh,
you
I do.
listening?
I do that. I wear my guardian angel necklace with my crystals. I have a crystal here at home that Stephanie got me for protection. I have my white sage. I have my Palo Santo. I have my spirit guides who I asked for protection from.
When we tried to do the original recording for episode 5 with the Night Stalker and the Suicide Bridge, we were using the dowsing rods, and Veronica's like, use my energy. And I'm like, this
Yeah,
bitch.
and I'm not afraid because like I know I'm protected. I think it's important too to show like the spirits or whoever you're talking to that you're not afraid and that you have to stand your ground.
Agreed.
You could use my energy, but you're not coming home with me. You're not allowed to come home with me. You're not allowed to follow me out of here. You have to stay here. Sorry, not sorry.
You
So,
could have you could have given a hoe a warning.
well, I mean, no.
I had
I
no idea you were protected at all. And you're just like, use me. And I'm like, what are you doing?
use me. I'm all yours.
You're flipping crazy. No, I don't think that I would open myself up that way. I don't trust myself enough to do that.
Mm.
In a way, I'm a little more chicken shit than that. So I don't know if that I would.
So you'll just
Yeah,
walk
I
up to a fence that's waving back and forth, but you
yeah, dude, for real. It could be a fucking wolf.
While
Like, what
everybody's
the girl
running in the
run?
cars. Yeah, no, for real. You're fucking crazy. They're all in the car. And I'm like, well, this is what I'm here to do. But yeah, I would rather do that. I'm not going to help up though. No,
priorities.
That's funny though. No, but really, no, I don't think I would ever do that. You're brave, Veronica, for doing that crap.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like I'm a little too brave when it comes to this stuff, but I just really love it. I really love it. I mean, yeah, I get scared. I'm human, like, but also it's like come at me. Like when I heard the footsteps, I sat up so quick in my bed and looked around my room, but at the same time I was telling myself like, okay, if I see something, don't freak out. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
See,
It's
for
easier
me,
said than done, though. Easier said than done, because
yeah, because like for me, if I see something in my house, my first thought is not, oh, it's just a ghost. My first thought is, oh shit, somebody broke into my fucking house.
right.
Oh no, I think that way too. You know what I mean? Here at home, like if I hear the door open and it's like at a time where my mom's already in bed, I'm ready. Like I'm like, all right, where's my pocket knife? And
About to
let
go
me warm
stab a
up this.
ghost.
No, I'm saying that like I do get scared of like actual people. People are obviously more scarier than ghosts, which I feel like that's what stopped me from exploring like abandoned haunted places just because like no, like the haunted forest out here in Pasadena, I would absolutely love to do it, but there's crazies out there like no, thank you.
Yeah, there's homeless. There's
Mhm.
Hmm.
no.
You still got stories about the KKK out there doing rituals and stuff.
For real?
And yeah, and like there's people that go up there and for whatever reason, whether it's just to hang out, whether it's a date, whether it's for something spooky, and they find items that you would usually find during a ritual. So it's not safe. I'm not down. Even during the day, like I'm Mexican, I'm a brown girl, so no thank you.
I hear I'm brown and my mom was in Korea, so I know a lot of different rituals that people can do. And I've gone to cemeteries where all of a sudden you see white ass coconuts wrapped in red bandages. And you're like, what the hell is that? So
Oh
yeah, you're
heck
just,
no.
oh, for real.
If you
Yeah.
know, you know.
If you know, you know. And yeah, no, and don't go near it. And then there was a one time in Monrovia, the little waterfall. You go up there, that little
Canyon Park.
yes. And there were floating coconuts with ribbons all wrapped up.
Fuck
Stop,
that.
don't tell me that.
Well, like eons ago. I mean, I was still young, but no, because my kids, I would let them go ahead and play in the water, and we'd come down and That would be it. I wouldn't let them go in the water. Nope. That means somebody baño or something in there. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Since we're talking about places,
Yeah.
you mentioned the house with
Yeah.
and Hunt Cemetery. What other places did you visit? You can say names, even though, like, unless you're from Texas, you probably won't know it, but some people might be interested still.
Nothing really, like the house with the mouse. That was then there we did an actual, my friend thought that his house was haunted. And so there was a couple of us that saw a shadow outside of a window, and then they did some EVPs, and then the loudspeaker thing that we tried to communicate with. And but that was at his house. My husband did a lot of this stuff because he had more freedom to, I'm a mom, so I stayed home with the kiddos. But if and when I could, I definitely loved to. And Hunt Cemetery was my idea, so of course I was going to go to that shit. Come on now. So for real. So yeah, but there was this one creepy house, and then the back house had like a condemned, it was like a little church with the pews and a and the whole thing, but the whole thing was condemned. I don't know if it had tornado damage or what, but that place was creepy.
I would definitely be scared to go into an abandoned or old church, especially at night.
It was creepy because it was dark, there was lights, there literally wasn't any electricity running through that church, but like my hair would stand, that weird feeling you get in the back of your neck. I
Mhm.
Mhm.
would, I just wouldn't. Ugh, no. No, I did not. I literally walked up the steps, made it to the front entryway, and then Joe and Red were in there, but I wouldn't go in there. I could I Something not allow me to go in there. It just
See, that's
no.
how I felt at Suicide Bridge, where as soon as I stepped out of the car, I was like, "This isn't right, we need to leave."
Hmm.
And
In Colorado?
Veronica no, at the Suicide Bridge in California in Pasadena.
Yeah, on Colorado, right? Isn't it Colorado?
Yeah, Colorado
Is it?
Boulevard.
Yeah. But, yeah, Veronica teases me all the time because she didn't feel shit. She was just like, "La-di-da, la-di-da," and I'm like, Let's get the fuck out of here, dude."
I've felt like I've had an experience where I felt uneasy, like super uneasy. But like at the bridge, I've never felt that ever. And so it's like I just find it interesting and like I'm not all in all seriousness, I find it weird and odd that like you felt that way to where I was like, I don't feel anything negative. Like I feel sadness, but at the same time I'm not here like make your presence known. I'm here like, hey, like I'm sorry you felt like you needed to take your life. Like, you know what I mean? Like
From that
I'm
respect, basically.
exactly. So it's like, but still, I don't know why you felt that way. I wonder what it was.
See, for me, how I've kind of always thought about it since then was that you go there so often and by yourself
Yeah, that's crazy. But
that they're used to you, but then you bring me along and we're there specifically to record
But I've done that with Z. I've done that with an old friend of mine. Like that's literally like what I do is I always bring a
for
friend, a
publish for,
stranger
like, public use, though, or just for private use?
for both. For
Okay.
public use, like we literally, it's the same thing with every person that I ever go with. We pick up some biology and then we go and eat under the bridge. We hang out, we have a good time. And I mean, most of the friends that I take let me be me and also are down to do these things. Like I make sure I have permission. Of course, I'm not gonna force them to like fucking talk to like spirits if they don't want to, but
right.
and we'll start ghost hunting and we'll start recording. But I
I'd
always
Interesting.
make sure that that respect is there.
Yeah, I'd be down for something like that. That'd be fun.
Yeah. And it's a nice park, right, Chels?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
cute.
it's gorgeous. Like, I would definitely love to go try it again to see if it was just, like, the one time, like, maybe they just weren't in the mood and I was feeling it. I don't know. I would love to try it again.
Yeah, no, I'd be down for something like that. I haven't done it in a really long time. The last time I actually felt something was when a close friend of our family, his wife passed away, but the way that she passed away was pretty traumatic. And so he was just trying to get rid of shit, and he just kept bringing stuff over. Here, Arlene, take this. I don't know what to do with this. Here, have this. And so literally my kids were younger, and I was going around all the rooms and picking up their dirty laundry, and I had a basket in my hand, and I felt something and ugly, and it felt mean. It felt like it wanted to do harm. And so literally I said, "You are not allowed to be in my house. Get out now." I just sat there for a minute. Oh God, my chicken skin's back. And I just kind of sat there for a minute, and like I knew who it was. I knew who it was. And then just I didn't feel it anymore. I did not feel it anymore. But that's probably the very, very last time. My daughter says that she feels my mom's presence a lot, especially after my really bad accident. He almost lost his life. As a matter of fact, yesterday, Halloween, it was his day. So, and your daughter's birthday as well, Chelsea. So happy birthday to her, right? So it
Yeah,
was.
she literally got home and she's like, everybody keeps telling me. How do they know?
So yeah, so everybody, my sister tells me, but everybody that comes over to the house tells me that it's a very calming, very serene, very warm place to be. So that's good. That means it's working.
Well, yeah, even here at my house, like I feel great. Like I'm at home. But whenever someone comes over, like they're just like, dude, your house is so creepy. Your house is so old school. I'd like, like your house is just this and that. And it's like, really? Like, what's that?
I have a really crazy story, and I have no answer. It's like a joke without a punchline. I used to live in the little back house, and in the little back house, it was very, very quiet, but was facing like that Mormon church right there. So it was nothing but the other side was the parking lot. So anything and everything that you can hear would bounce off out of that area and bounce back into my house. Anyway, so all of a sudden you hear this blood curdling scream. It was a woman's scream, and it sounded like she was running in flip-flops down the street. And at night, like there was nobody. And everybody came out of the house. So my neighbor was out in his like wife beater and boxer shorts. I'm out in my pajamas in the middle of the street. My neighbor is out and she's wrapped in a robe, and we're all looking like, okay, I'm not the only one that heard that. And we're looking up and down the street, and there was nothing. Nothing.
Wow. Like you don't
So,
that type of experience.
so what that was you experienced a murder and the murderer was just waiting until you guys went back into your houses to move the body.
So later on, I that there was a chick that was kidnapped and was held captive in some dude's house.
Okay, I was just joking earlier. We didn't have to go really
Yeah,
dark.
Chelsea.
No, I'm just saying it could have happened. It could have happened. But
There's our punchline.
there's your punchline. But it was probably one of the creepiest things. This is, after I had my kids and we were in California, and just all of a sudden everybody's out in your fucking underwear and pajamas in the middle of the street. We're looking up and down the road going, okay, I'm not the only one that heard that shit. But that was
Well,
weird.
speaking about being naked on the street, I have a
Oh
funny
God.
story.
I can't wait.
This is how it always starts.
But it doesn't end the way you think it's gonna end. I've recently, like within the past year or two, I have these moments where like, and I've talked about it before on the podcast, but it's just funny because of what my mom said. I think it was either today or the other day that I brought it up to her. I was like, yeah, like I'll be in that state where like you're awake but you don't know you're awake. You think you're still in your dream. Like it's just so like you're convinced you're in your dream still. And like I've gotten up from my bed and ran to my door, like trying to run from something or whatever it was. And it's not until I open the door that I like wake up and I'm like, oh shit, like what the fuck? And I'm like, oh, I hope my mom didn't hear me. And I like close the door and I go back to bed. But I was telling my mom that story and she's like, well, good thing you don't sleep naked. And I was like, sometimes I don't sleep with a shirt on, but now I do just in case. Because God, imagine I'm running down the street, boobies flying left and right. Like
out there in your.
Yeah.
That's that's crazy. So it's kind of like sleepwalking, Veronica.
Yeah. And that has happened twice. Well, we appreciate you being a loyal listener, Arlene.
Oh, why? Thank you.
I started loving you before we even met today.
Yeah.
Same.
My mom used to tell me stories about you all the time, and I was just like, I'm gonna like her. And then we started talking after the podcast, and I'm like, yep, I do.
By the way, I appreciate you doing that previous life for me. 16 cards. I would not have done that to you had I
Well,
known it was
there was
16
a bunch of
cards.
different ones.
That was, but you did the previous life. That was really cool.
Well, there's like a bunch of different previous life ones, but that's the one that called to us, so it was definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have to bring you back so we can talk about how you took notes on our notes.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
I have a notebook at work because that's where I listen to y'all. I listen to y'all at work, and I'm like, pause. I have to write this shit down. Hold on.
I'm excited for that.
Well, thank you, Arlene, for joining us. We've
Oh no,
had a blast.
thank you for including me. I did have fun. I almost sad that it's over.
Well, hopefully we could have you back. Even if it's like to bring you in for
Like a
the questions or even do like a live reading. We haven't done a tarot reading where like the other person is there.
I would
So
love another tarot reading, but I want like if you do ever do another tarot and it's on me, think about it. I want to grow spiritually. I want to like know how to hone in my intuitiveness and so things like that. So
there's spreads for that, so you're good.
yeah, that's what I want to do. That's what I want. Like what I need to work on in order to grow more spiritually.
All right. Well, hopefully we get to talk to you soon, Arlene. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Yes, thank you.
I was like counting down the minutes. I'm like, all right, send me the thing already.
LOL. I'm
We were
sorry.
on the dot.
I know, but I was ready.
So I don't know about you, Veronica, but I'm definitely interested in having Arlene back for season 2.
Oh yes, Arlene, thank you so much for being here. I love you. Man, she made me just want to be a oh my god, I was going to say serial killer. She makes me want to be a ghost hunter even more. Like, you know what I mean? Like my dream of being a ghost hunter.
So next season, I think we should separate our notes with a little space because I think you were going to say serial killer because that's what you're seeing on your screen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we need a little space.
But at least I caught myself.
So, segment 2, we are talking about a new serial killer that I discovered a couple weeks ago. I've been kind of waiting to see how it plays out. Even now, there's still not information like a whole bunch. It's still under a lot of scrutiny and investigation. But basically, a woman in Iowa has come forward and claims that her late father was a prolific serial killer. The authorities are actively investigating this, but she basically claimed that her father disposed of dozens of bodies of people he killed decades ago and made her and her siblings help him dispose of these bodies. Now, this man died in 2013, actually the same month that we graduated high school.
Wild.
Yeah. And the Fremont County Sheriff, he is quoted as saying, "We are actively investigating this, and who wouldn't?" He told news reporters that we have a scene, but we don't know whether it's a crime scene. We don't have victims, bodies, nothing. However, the woman who came forward claims that her father, Donald Studi, killed 50 to 70 people and disposed of the bodies in a well on the property that he owned. Her older sister claims that these allegations are not true. And she says that my father was not the man she makes him out to be. He was strict, but he was a protective parent who loved his children. I'm 2 years older than Lucy. I think I would know if my father murdered people. Now, they did bring in some cadaver dogs, and they did indicate a couple of areas, and they also did indicate the well where she claims the bodies were disposed of. The sheriff also said that they're going to do everything that they can to prove or disprove these allegations, and they have asked the DCI and the FBI to assist in the investigation so that way they can try to provide as much manpower and resources as possible because of the high number that she had given. Now, if this turns out to be true, this would make him one of the world's most prolific serial killers.
Wow.
Now, remember in last episode, I asked you what you thought about people making allegations after somebody died?
Yeah, with Ed and Lorraine Warren.
So, what are your thoughts on this?
This is different because I don't know them in any way, shape, or form. So it's more believable.
It's more believable to wait almost 10 years to come forward with this
No, not
information?
with that. I'm saying it's more believable for that to be true. As far as them waiting 10 years, I mean, the trauma is involved, the retaliation is involved. I don't know. I would hope it's not true because that's really sad making your own kids help you dispose of bodies that you've murdered.
Now, if it does come out to be true, because the older sister is denying these allegations, do you think that she either didn't know about the murders and it was just the younger sister that helped dispose of bodies? Or do you feel like it took almost 10 years for her to, for the younger sister to decide to come out with this? Because, I mean, if it is true, she would have been terrified of her father, right?
Yeah.
But now that it's been this long, do you think that she was worried that her sister would deny it like she is, and that's maybe why she waited so long?
So I think it's one of two things. One, yes, maybe the older sister was not involved in any way. I think if you're like a serial killer, I wouldn't be surprised if he had like favoritism or whatever, sympathy for the oldest one, whatever the case may be. Like there's a lot of like psychology that goes into this, right? Another thing is maybe the older one did experience it, but the trauma, I mean, there's cases out there where the trauma is so severe that it wipes your memory and you're so in denial that it's like you don't remember it happening or it didn't happen. You're so convinced it didn't happen. So I mean, that could be very traumatizing. I mean, I've experienced trauma in my life, but not enough for me to forget what happened.
Mhm.
I wish I could forget, but you can only imagine how severe that trauma that person experienced to completely have that memory wiped out. So I think it's one of those two things. That's what I believe or what I'm getting.
Mhm.
Either way, overall, it's fucking sad.
Yeah. The whole like thing is it was just like mind-blowing to me.
Because if it's not
And
true, then the kid, the daughter that's making those allegations, you're fucking fucked up to
yeah.
be lying about that, about your own
Yeah.
father who's dead.
And you know what? Maybe it was her that did it and she just needed a scapegoat. Maybe she finally felt guilty.
There's just so many like
So
things,
many yeah, so
yeah.
many different ways that
Us
this could
trying to
turn out.
fucking figure it out. Okay, but look at this.
So yeah, I will definitely be staying on top of this investigation and I will give you updates as I get them.
Yes, please.
But so yeah, I'll definitely give you updates and let's get started on a special reading with Mama Tammy. All right, Ghosty. So our next segment is our rune reading for our listener, Miley. And this is a special reading because we don't usually do runes, but Mama Tammy does. And she's here with us right now. You want to say hi?
Hi, everybody.
I wish we had like
And
a cheering sound effect, like yeah.
oh, there we go. We just made our own.
I know.
I love it.
So if you guys have been here for a while, you'll probably remember Mama Tammy from episode 6 where I interviewed her because we had some complications with Veronica joining in. So we're really excited to have all three of us here for this reading.
Yes.
The rune reading is from Miley, and her question is not so much a question as it is she just wants to know something. So she wants to know, what do the runes want to tell me?
Ooh.
And Mom, you want to get started from there?
All right. So I'm giving her an overall life ruin reading called a river reading. It's like a flow of your life, like a river would be. So 5 ruins, and you have your past, your present, your course of action, which could either lead to a positive or a consequence in your life flow. Then you have your guidance, and what you should do to get to your positive ending. So, depending on what your guidance ruin is, and if you stay within those actions, you'll get a positive outcome. Otherwise, it could go pretty bad.
Yikes.
Okay.
Wait, is there a chance that Miley may possibly get called out just as much as we've all been called out by tarot cards?
Could be.
Oof. This is exciting, and I'm glad it's not me. Miley, you're brave.
And for those of you listening, Miley requested a reading from my mom, so if she
Yeah,
gets
no,
called out, this is totally on her.
that's on her, and I'm so here for it. I'm so here for it.
Miley,
Mom.
don't worry, it'll be okay. Okay, so your past is actually the ruin of Kenneth, and it stands for torch, like a fire torch. So you've actually had all this creativeness that you've been pushing forward. You started off with excellent knowledge in your life with this pretty much quote unquote fire of desire to go. But then in your present, which is actually, and it's reversed, and that is Odin's ruin, Ethra. So your present, you've kind of hit a stop. You have a lack of order. Your order in your life is kind of chaotic at the moment. So your third ruin, which is going to kind of give you, it's going to be your deciding factor on your actions and your versus your consequences, is Iwaz, which is the ruin of movement. And that's actually a good thing because you have choices here. So you have to, what you have to do is have a gradual movement, a development, a steady process, kind of like the story of the tortoise and the hare. You go too fast, you end up with your consequences. You do your gradual development and your steady progress, and you're going to get your positive in your life. Your fourth ruin is your guidance ruin, and that is Isa. Now, I'm surprised that you got Isa, but it seems like in order to get where you want to get into life, in your overall general life, you're going to need to be at a standstill. Isa is the ruin of ice, kind of like frozen, as in like a frozen ice, piece of ice. You need to stay still for a while. You need to let those frustrations go that are hitting you right now. You need to turn inward and you need to be quiet. If that means you have something where you need to make a fast decision, don't. If you do make any kind of fast decisions without staying still and thinking this over, you are going to end up on the wrong side. It's going to be a worse consequence than you're expecting. So slow down, think about your options, think about what you're doing before you make a decision. If you follow that guidance of Isa, you will end up with your fifth ruin, which is Igwaz. Igwaz is actually an earth god ruin, and that is actually your ruin of relaxation. That means all your tension is gone, all your anxiety is gone. You're free to make any movement in your life that you want, and you will get there. You will have grown, you will have more common sense, you will have tied up all your loose ends, and that will push you forward in your life to where you want, to what you desire in life. But you have to listen to Isa and stay still and think deeply on what you're doing and don't make any fast decisions. And that is your river ruin.
Wow.
Interesting. I don't know what to say.
I mean, from what I took, it's simply saying like, Miley, take it step by step, take a minute to breathe and think things through before you make a
Any
haste
decision.
decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is what it's saying, because right now,
Mhm.
Miley, you're in a chaotic motion, and you can go either way. So you're gonna have to stay still in order to decide what is best for you versus what might be best for somebody else. This is your time to take for you in order to get you where you need to be or to get you what you want. So don't make rash decisions. Don't let somebody else's influence you to do something else. As much as it may be an easier outcome to just say, okay, you know what? I'm just going to let them have their way because it's just going to make it easier. I don't have to deal with the chaos anymore. Don't. Does that make sense?
I get
Yeah.
it.
And, we do a lot of tarot readings for Miley on and off the show. And based on all of the previous readings that we've done, I feel like this is the perfect time for this reading because she's been going through a lot.
Hmm.
And I feel like it's time for her to realize that this is her time now, no matter what it is that she has to choose for herself, that it's
I
it's
know
time for that standstill.
I know she's trying to fight for what she thinks she wants or what she thinks she needs or what she wants. I'm not here trying to say that I know what you want or what you need or what you deserve. I'm not here to say that. But if you do take that minute to breathe, according to this reading, if you're patient and you take time for yourself, it will be worth it in the end.
Yes, it
Yeah.
will. It will.
And I think you definitely need that fresh breath of air that you'll get not only after every baby step that you take, but once you get to that finish line in this chapter, it's going to be like weight off your shoulders.
It's going to be a relief. It's going to give her
Exactly.
the options to move into a new direction, to move to, to go further into her life.
Hmm.
But she's got to take that time for herself. She's got to stay still and really listen to within herself what she needs. Just because she thinks she knows what she needs, that right now does not really mean that that's what she needs.
Hmm.
Until she sits down and really listens to herself and really approaches the pros and the cons to this decision in her life, she's not gonna she could possibly go into the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Well, Miley, we hope that you could get something from this reading. We hope that you enjoyed it. Mama, thank you for coming on to the show and doing a special rune reading for us.
You are very welcome.
Yes,
Bef-
thank you so much. I'm actually kind of curious to have one done for myself.
Well, I am more than well opening to coming back. So,
Okay.
yes, and we'll always welcome you back. Before we say goodbye to you for the rest of the episode, though, Veronica and I did talk about something that we were curious about.
okay.
So, I recently found out that you haven't picked up tarot cards in over 10 years. And so we were wondering, is interpreting rune readings similar to tarot readings, or is it completely different for you?
They're somewhat the same, but ruins I'm more comfortable with. They call to me. It's easier for me to hear them than it is with Tara. Tara and I had a really good run in the beginning, but when I discovered the ruins, those immediately I connected immediately to them. And so it's a different type of relationship with them, but I'm more comfortable with them.
It's really funny because you bought me my first pair of ruins
Hmm.
and they're silent. They ghost me. But tarot really speaks to me, so I feel like that's really funny.
Well, it's different for everybody because with my father, your grandfather, tarot is what called to him, and he was very very good at it. He never actually heard of ruins until I introduced him to them, and he thought they were amazing, and he liked the concept. But tarot was what he did. It was more him. It was what he felt. I just happened to feel a different direction than him. And so,
And
and I don't know if it happens to be because you received his tarot cards as a gift that those seem to call to you more.
that's interesting. That's an interesting theory. That's possible. His tarot deck was my first one that I ever owned.
Yes.
What advice would you give to someone who may be interested in starting rune reading?
Take it slow. Learn about each one.
Hmm.
Do your meditations with them like you would with Tara. Decide if you feel anything with them. If you don't, then it's probably not something that's going to work for you or that's going to connect to you.
Mhm.
You have to be connected to whichever one you decide to do.
Mhm.
Divination is not an easy process. There's several different other types of divination that you can do as well, but runes and tarot are basically the two most popular. They're easier for each person that does them. So you kind of have to just kind of go into it openly and see what calls to you, what's easier for you to read. And it's not even so much what's in the books that you're learning
Mhm.
that that teaches you each one. There's different ways to read ruins, just like there's different ways to read tarot. You have tarot decks that have, that your oracles have no actual definition for each card. It is more goes more on your feelings, on your emotions. That's what oracle cards are. So your reading is your feelings that they bring to you and you bring to them. With ruins, it's a combination of what each ruin means and your feelings, because there are several meanings for those ruins
Mhm.
versus a tarot deck, which has a basic meaning too.
Right.
More empaths are drawn to ruins because they do have, just like more empaths are drawn to oracle cards versus regular tarot cards.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So it just depends on the person. I'm an empath, so I connect easier with those.
Yeah, I'm an empath as well, and the reason why I ask is because if I'm being honest, last episode when we were doing the reading for, I believe it was Susie,
Mhm.
I was gonna pull the cards. I was gonna do the tarot reading. Usually I have no issue. I do go into it with not doubt, but some kind of worry that it's not gonna be accurate.
Still learning, you're still new to it, so you have some reservations on your own. You're not trusting yourself enough.
Yeah, so this last reading I pulled the cards, but I didn't feel the connection. It didn't feel right. And I actually asked Chelsea if she could do the tarot reading, which she did. But now that you're saying that empaths kind of connect more with the oracle cards, I do have a deck of oracle cards that I may have to kind of look into a little bit more, and maybe that's what I should be practicing rather than tarot. Not that I'm gonna give up tarot completely because
No,
it
you never have to give up tarot. Just
yeah,
try your oracle. Maybe that's what's calling you. Maybe that's why you froze. Maybe they were calling to you for a reading for that person versus the tarot deck.
right. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, usually if I don't feel a connection to a certain deck that I'm using, I'll switch and kind of see what else is calling. Because, like I've mentioned before, I have several tarots and oracle decks, but that goes back to what Mom said about confidence. Like I don't have very much confidence in oracle decks, but I try
Mm,
not to use those. But tarot, if I switch up the different ones, that usually helps me as well.
Yes, each deck is different with ruins. You have, like today for Miley's reading, I consulted the sets that I have, and the set that I ended up using, which was calling more to what Miley needed, was the hematite, which is a healing stone. So there's obviously, with her chaos going on, there's some healing process that needs to be done, because those are the ones that called to me versus
Hmm.
my others.
And
So,
that's another thing I find interesting about runes is there's so much that goes into them.
hmm, but it still works the same way with tarot decks. Like you have several different types and several decks of the same kind, but each deck calls for something different.
Yeah. One more question before we end this segment. I think I said one more question already, but
Okay.
something you said like made me have another one. So we've kind of talked a little bit before about the process of how Veronica and I do tarot, not like in depth or anything, but
Mhm.
your method of rune reading, could you explain how you, I guess, developed that technique and that way of reading runes?
Mine is a meditation with them. Also, if it's a specific question from somebody that needs a specific answer to something that's going on, where Miley didn't have a specific question, she just needed some guidance in her life type of a question. It's easier sometimes if that person writes their question down, meditates on that question. And a meditation does not mean they have to sit there for hours and hours. It could just be a few minutes just pondering that question that they have. And then once they give that question to me, I can better understand what they're needing. And which means that my ruins can better understand what they're needing. And it can also connect to them. If it's something like what Miley, like what I gave Miley, I can sit and meditate on just her. And I can focus on and what she could possibly need in her life. And eventually it'll come to me and the ruins because the ruins and I sit together.
Okay. That's interesting. I might try that with my tarot. Well, thank you, Mama Tammy, for joining us.
You are
Yay!
welcome. Thank you for asking me. Miley, thank you for asking me.
Chelsea will mail you your paycheck. You should get that within 5 business days.
No, it's okay. She'll just get it back and eventually.
Alrighty, so thank you, Ghosties, for joining us this week. We've had Arlene and Mama Tammy who both joined us. It's been a blast. I definitely like these experience episodes. I don't know about you. Having people on with us is just, it's so much fun.
I still get nervous though.
Oh, yeah.
But
Because we're just
the
so
thing
used to
is,
each other.
yeah, but the thing is that like obviously I know Mama Tammy, like you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Arlene was a stranger to me, but
Just a stranger
Arlene
to
was
me,
just
too.
so much fun to talk to and to hear her stories and for her to fucking walk up to the fence, man. Like, dude,
I know.
while her whole team just runs away.
Speaking of, Arlene has sent me a bunch of pictures, so check out our Instagram and see those that she sent us. There's a couple that we'll be sharing on Instagram, and I don't know how much of the recording we're actually going to keep, but we had such a blast with Arlene that we recorded for almost 2 hours.
Yeah, that's how lost we
That
got
yeah,
in our conversation and interview.
we had so much fun. So if this episode is really long, I mean, I hope you guys are here for it because we definitely were.
And I love how she got to see us with like without the edits and stuff, like
Yeah,
how we
yeah.
are.
Arlene had a blast.
Sorry.
Yeah. So if you don't know, Veronica and I bicker a lot, and that gets cut out of the podcast. And she made it so much fun to experience that firsthand without the edits. I don't know about you, but I felt really called out. I was like, shit, we really do bicker a lot. We're like an
yeah,
old
right.
married
It's like
couple.
having that third party there that makes you more like cautious
Cautious,
about
yeah.
like how you act. Like, damn, I need to behave.
Yeah, we're like putting ourselves in timeout. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but thank you so much, Arlene, for joining us today. Mama Tammy, thank you so much for the rune reading. That was very interesting. That was the first one I've ever heard or have been a part of. So yeah, I had a blast this episode.
Yeah, and like this episode was recorded on so many different days, so I feel like it's been dragged out so much, but it's been so much fun.
Yeah.
But be sure to give us a follow on our social media. Like I said, check out our Instagram to see some photos from Arlene. And even though we did a rune reading this week, if you want a tarot reading from us, feel free to DM us. We'll choose one lucky person a week. We are your hosts. I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Veronica.
Have a spooky weekend, guys. Talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.